In this lesson, we're going to talk about some more about concatenation and also type conversion. I think the easiest way is just to use some examples, so let's take a look. I will paste some text in here so you don't have to watch me type. So we created a variable called str1 set to hello. str2 is there. We have a space here. And then we create a new variable called cat1, and cat1 is this variable concatenated with this variable. And let's see what that gives us. Okay, hello there. So this sometimes works like a plus sign, so we'll add two numbers together. But here, you know, JavaScript sees that this is a string and this is a string, so it knows that we don't want to do addition here. It knows that we want to concatenate them, so it does exactly what we want it to do, and it connects these two things. Let's look at another example. So here we have two numbers, and cat2 is equal to num1 plus num2. Okay, here it's not concatenating, it's going to perform addition because it sees that this is an integer and this is an integer, so it knows that we don't want a string here. We want a number. So let's see what happens, and that's 3. Okay, which is right. 1 plus 2 is 3. If we change things around a bit, make this into a string, let's see what happens, and we get 12. Okay, so this is an integer and this is a string, so what's happening is it's all getting converted to a string here, and 1 and 2, this is just the string 12. Let's put this back to 2. Paste some more inside. Here I've created a variable called number letter, and number letter is this concatenated with this right here. So we have a number and a string, two different data types. We're going to write this out, we're going to break down, and then we're going to check the type of number letter. So what happens when we concatenate a number with a string? What data type are we going to end up with? Okay, let's find out. And so this was the result of the concatenation. We got 1 hello, and this is a string. Okay, we use the type of to check the data type of it. We can you can use it, you can just write it like this, or you can put it, you know, type of is a function, so we can put it inside parentheses here. Okay, but that's how that works. Okay, let's do one more. Here I have a variable letter number. So here we started with a number and we concatenated on a string. Now we're starting with a string and we're going to concatenate on a number. We're going to write this out, we're going to break down, and we're going to check the type again. Okay, and it's almost the same thing. So it didn't matter if we started with a string or if we started with a number. The variable we ended up with in both times was a string, and so this is so what happened is type conversion. Okay, so JavaScript needs to make decision on what you want. Do you want a string or do you want a number? In both of these cases, it's going to convert to a string. Okay, we can delete all of this, and let's keep going. Here I've created the variable prod for product, and this is actually, it's set to an expression, so it's set to 24 times 81. So we haven't looked at math yet, but this is multiplication. Okay, and so we're going to write out the variable and we're going to check its type. Okay, so here it's not going to write this out, it's going to perform the math and it's going to put the product inside here and checking the type, and that's a number, right? space. Here, so we're going to overwrite the variable now. So now prod, we're setting to prod.string. So we're accessing, this is an integer here, right? It's an integer, it's a number. And then we're going to run this toString method on our variable. We're going to write that out, and then we're going to check the type. So here we have the same thing here, but now it's a string. Okay, so we explicitly said that now we don't want this to be a number. We want to convert it to a string, and that's just what we did here. So this method, it will take an integer and it will convert it to a string. So now prod is a string. So if I try to do some stuff like if I try to create something new, we can't use new. Okay, new var, and we make that equal to prod plus we try to do some addition on it. We try to add 1 to it, and we try to write that out. Okay, let's see what we get. So you can see it's just treating it like a string. It saw this as a string and add on 1. So remember, when we add a string with an integer, the end result is a string, and this is still a string. Okay, let's take this away. Refresh. This is going to be a little bit long, but let's take a look at it. So we have a variable foo, and this is set to the string 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now we're creating a new variable bar. Bar is set to foo -1, and we're going to see what was foo, what is bar, and then we're going to say bar is we're going to check the type of bar, and then we're going to check the type of foo. Okay, let's see what happens. So so foo is set to, this is just a string. This is just a string. Okay, it's showing you right here. Bar is foo -1. Okay, so here we did some math. We added a string. We took a string, which is, oh wait, it's a string here, and then we subtracted 1 from it. Okay, so you might think, okay, well, we're using string here and we're using integer here. The result is going to be a string. Okay, but in this case, JavaScript saw that you just have numbers here. It's numbers inside your string, and then we're subtracting 1 from it. So what it did was it actually it converted this to a number. It subtracted 1 from it, and then we got this. So this is different. You see, it subtracted 1. Okay, we can check the type of this. We use the type of function here, and it tells us this is definitely a number, and foo, this is still a string. Okay, let's look at another example. So here I created a variable people, and people is set to a string, 1, 2, 3 people. And then I made another variable called more people, and that is set to people +1. Okay, but remember, before we just had a plain number inside our string. Now we've added some text in here. Okay, and we're going to write out more people is equal to, we're going to check what it is, and its type is, and then we're going to check its type. Let's see what happens. Okay, so more people is equal to 1, 2, 3 people 1, and its type is string. So we saw here that because we had these extra letters in here, and then we add 1 to it, it just thought we wanted a string. It didn't do any math for us. Okay, so we just ended up with a string. But what we can do here is we can run a function on this and change what happens. So there's a function called parseInt. So parse integer. So it's going to try and take an integer out of this. Okay. Let's see what happens now. Okay, so now it changed. So now more people is equal to 124. It did the math, 123 plus 1, and its type is number. And I think we can write it out. Let's just put well, let's just write it out. Let's write out people and see what we get. Okay, 123. So this string, when we ran the parseInt function on it, it took out this people and it just gave us this. So it took the number out of it. It's an integer here. Okay. Let's take this out for now. Okay. Let's try to let's make a little change here. Let's take away 123 from the end and let's put it on the back of it. So now it's people 1, 2, 3. We're still running the parseInt function on it. And let's see what happens now. So remember on the last one it was 1, 2, 3 people, and we have a number. It did the math. Now we're changing to people 1, 2, 3, and we refresh. Okay, now it says more people is equal to NaN, and its type is number. So the result here is that this means not a number. Okay, so it didn't work, and its type is number. This is a bit strange, and we can again we can write out people. Let's just put let's put a break in front. Okay, let's write that out, take a look at it. Okay, so right now people is set to not a number, and we can even check the type of this, just out of curiosity. And it's saying it's a number, so it's interesting that not a number is, it thinks it's the data type number, but so we saw a difference between 1, 2, 3 people and people 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 people, it was able to get an integer out of it, but this one it couldn't. Alright. The last thing is we can even try, even this resulted to not a number. We can try to run the toString method on it. Just see what happens here. Okay. Now it's saying more people is equal to NaN1 and its type is string. So even though it was NaN before and it said its data type was number, now it's converted this NaN. It's literally this string here, and then it concatenated on a 1 and its type is string. We can put this back to how it was before, 1, 2, 3 people. So before, remember, it was able to parse the integer from here. It got out of this, it got 123 and converted it to a number. Let's just look at this one more time, like that. Okay, it's equal to 124, and its type is number. But if we use the toString method on here now more people is equal to 1, 2, 3. Now we made it back into a string, and we concatenate on a 1. Okay, so now this is a string and its type is string. Okay, that's all for this lesson, and see you in the next one.